kind sponsor. So into the centre of the raceway and out of harm's way, then the Wessex 94 machine will go, and we get the bungee lifts, and away we go. Top point scorer then, or 2 point scorer, is Ferguson. And Harrington it is then. It's going into the form book as well. The two leaders then hit the front with the 34 machine. Ferguson on the inside, Harrington on the outside with P22 and Hawkins, your third place qualifier, slotting into third as they go round towards us. Once again, still nothing to choose, but it's Ferguson that leads the way. Harrington in 90, then Hawkins in 22. Then we go to Cambridge 201 and Jacob Bleak, all go into the form book, all three qualifiers. As Hawkins looks up that inside line, there's a gap. Harrington then has to lose positions, loses one, loses another, as the race leader then comes round. Alan Hawkins it is that's going to bring him round. Once again, problems for somebody that may be Charlie Mustoe in Breen Hill 23. But it's 22 that leads in from Cambridge 201. He's made some ground. Jacob Leake up to second. He goes, your early race leader and top qualifier, Dan Ferguson, now fighting with the IK machine. That's going to be Dan Mumford in that fourth place slot. But as the laps continue to count down, P22, 201, Cambridge 34, then Dan Ferguson with IK 505, Dan Mumford. Then at the back of the pack it is then Charlie Mustoe that's in the middle. But we go back to the leader. We've also lost the Litley machine as well in Scunny 95, but we haven't lost your race leader because that's still holding on then. P22 of Alan Hawkins with one to go, 201.34. Then we go to the IK 505 machine of Dan Mumford. As once again down the far side we go with just about a half a lap to go, and he's led right from I would say turn one, but it wasn't far off, was it? And a good win though will go to Alan Hawkins, Pennine 22, Cambridge 201. Then we go to Dan Ferguson, who takes third in Cambridge 34, IK 505 of Daniel Mumford. And that's all we got to finish.
So the win this morning wasn't enough. Just missed out by 1 point. Just by 1 point, so unlucky, mate. But away we go then, Stockhatch final away from the line, and a little bit of swapping going on down the start straight, more into turn one, but we keep racing. Dougie Atkins it is though that takes up the running in South Somerset 40. Then we go to Dan Ferguson in Cambridge 34 as they climb the bank for the very first time. Dean Smith then just slotting into third in Ludlow 47, but oh no, we go red flags. So I think that maybe have something to do with the start line, but right. So Manny Scowfield's car has moved out of harm's way, and we go racing with D&D Transport sponsored men's class Stockhatches. So into the first turn then we go. It's Lickley in Scunny 95 that takes up the running, but not before we get the Cambridge car. Then Dan Ferguson has found a way through as they climb the bank then for the first time. Dougie Atkins then runs in about third as he's running on the inside of Dean Smith in Lud 47 that just gets a bit out of shape, and that allows the IK 505 machine to come through on the inside line. That's Daniel Mumford, but back to the leader though, still Ferguson it is that leads away. Cambridge 34, South Somerset 40, now through into that second place slot. Then Dean Smith fighting back on the inside line with Mumford in the 505 machine as they climb the bank. Once again Atherton 82 going through and completing another lap. That's Sam Woodwards, but we're going back to the lead machine then. That's Dan Ferguson with Dougie Atkins in South Somerset 40. Then we go to Dean Smith in Ludlow 47, IK 505 going through. Paul Lickley in Scunny 95 from Cambridge 201 of Jacob Leake. And the last of the runners and riders in, that will be Sam Woodward in Atherton 82. But challenge going on for that second place slot as your race leader goes into turn one for the penultimate time, because it's the last lap flag. This time Cambridge 34 it is then. Dean Smith got himself up to second ahead of Dougie Atkins in South Somerset 40, IK 505. Then we go to Paul Lickley in Scunny 95, and problems on board that Jacob Leake's machine, Cambridge 201, as Atherton 82 starts his final circuit. That's Sam Woodward, but back to the leader, and we got a change at the front as well, and he's got himself through and takes the win. Dean Smith from Dan Ferguson in the Cambridge 34. Dougie Atkins, Paul Lickley ahead of IK 505 of Daniel Manford. And the last car home, Atherton 82. And Transport, your very kind sponsor. And this consists of Dean Smith, Paul Harrington, Alan Hawkins, Daniel Mumford, Daniel Ferguson, Paul Lickley, Charlie Mustoe, and Eston Mayo. Away we go. And it is Dean Smith, your top point scorer, yet to be headed in round 4 so far this weekend. And he leads into the top turn. Ludlow at 47. Eston Mayo having a better run this time in Pennow 23, but he's got some serious company with Paul Harrington and Paul Lickley right there with him as well as they come down the hill for the first time of asking, with Daniel Mumford in IK 505, Mustoe in there as well in Breeden Hill at 23. But as they climb the bank into the top turn, once again just starting to edge away is Dean Smith in Ludlow at 47. From Pennow 23, Solway 90, Scully 95, IK 505, Mustoe in 23. Then we go to Daniel Ferguson in Cambridge 34 and Alan Hawkins in Pennow at 22. But switching back to the front, it's still Dean Smith that's just extending his lead, I think, as every lap goes by, with Eston Mayo in PA 23, Harrington 90, Lightning McQueen in Scunny 95. Mountford's certainly not out of it either, as he just makes a mistake. Mustoe looking up that inside in Pennow in Breeden Hill at 23 as they go down that far side, still locked together as they climb the bank into turn 1 once again. But another lap under his belt for Dean Smith. Ludlow 47, Mayo still holding off the challenger Harrington in Solway at number 90 as he just gives him a little bit of a nudge as they go round the pits bend. Lickley still running in that 4th place slot in Scunny 95, but back to the leader still. It's Dean Smith going to hold them all off for one more lap. Ludlow 47, Pennow 23, Solway 90, Scunny 95, Breeden Hill 23, Cambridge 34, and the Mountford in the IK 505 with the last of the runners and riders. That's going to be Alan Hawkins in Pennow at 22. But it's going to be 4 wins from 4. Dean Smith, Ludlow 47 it is that takes it. Eston Mayo in Pennow 23, Harrington in Solway 90, Lightning McQueen, then Paul Lickley in Sky 95, Breeden Hill 23, Ferguson in 34, Mountford in IK 505, and completing it all then for the Stockhatches.